Before we begin, I want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring this video. I know this is a hockey video, and there's been way too much football on this channel since September. However, there's a certain game that's going to be played this coming Sunday. Cincinnati against Los Angeles in the fight for the ultimate prize. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can also fight for a prize almost as rewarding. All new customers can get 56-1 odds on either team to win. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if the team you pick is victorious. For those of you living in states where DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available yet, there's no need to be left out in the cold. Daily fantasy contests are playable on DraftKings, where everyone has a chance to win millions of dollars in prizes. You know how to get involved? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code UTREE to join the festivities of the big game. It's easy to get 56-1 odds on either team to win with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL. And always remember to gamble responsibly. Now on to our main event. I haven't been able to give hockey enough justice this season. Problem is that the NFL has been so goddamn insane it's taken up all of my time. Not that I wasn't paying attention. I know that this was supposed to be the time that players would be flying over to China to participate in the Winter Olympics. You knew that wasn't happening the moment that there'd be a 5-week quarantine for those that got infected with COVID. Thanks to that and a temporary pause in the season, bye-bye Olympics. Here are 16 teams in the Eastern Conference fighting for playoff spots as compensation. These are their stories. Kinda feels like the Bruins are on the downswing. They're still a good team, but considering the juggernauts in their division, do you see Boston anywhere near the same caliber of what they were? To be fair, they've had an impressive January, but it's going to take a lot for them to realize their past glory. Brad Marchand is scoring in bunches, however it's with the caveat of a highly unsustainable shooting percentage. The rest of the core is good as well, but that's never been the problem. The depth is simply passable. They were counting on Jake DeBrusk being an option, but he's probably on the way out of here soon. The Bruins are decently built, but are they really great? That's the problem. You can tell me that Tuukka Rask is back in the fold, getting shelled in more than a few of his appearances and then having hip issues again, but the issues to me seem to be in finding the right formulas for a deep run. I think they can do it, but it'll be a long shot. DEFCON 1. That's all I have to say about the Sabres situation. I know you'll look at me as a sensationalist. You'll tell me the team is improving. They had their stereotypical strong start to a season in October. Alec Poso and Jeff Skinner have had revivals of their supposedly dead careers. You'll talk to me about Tage Thompson, Jack Quinn, Rasmus Dahlin, and the youth on the way. Great. What's to tell me that Buffalo won't squander them like Jack Eichel? The long inevitable day had arrived shortly after the season started. He was given beautiful freedom. Considering all the bullshit surrounding the whole ordeal, the Sabres got an okay return. I was expecting some used poker chips and a third-round pick. Not to mention the fact that the great tank of 2015 was done for nothing in hindsight. It's a dark time to be a Sabres fan. They've dealt with a lot of shit this past decade, and they finally had enough. You want the real concern? Attendance has fucking cratered. I know that they have a vax mandate and some fans can't cross the border from Canada, but that doesn't fully explain ticket sales below half capacity most games. Buffalo might be too far gone. The next stud could drop into their laps, but a thought is going to gnaw at them. How are they gonna fuck him up like they did Eichel? I'll be the first to admit I had little understanding of what the hell Carolina was doing this offseason. All of the risks they took. Injury-prone goaltenders, shaking up the core, Tony DeAngelo. There was a chance it could cause a boom, but the possibility of it blowing up were catastrophic. Turns out there was a boom, alright. A boom bursting towards their true potential. Freddie Anderson has put together the best performance for a goalie in a Canes uniform since Cam Ward in a certain cup run of theirs 15 years ago. DeAngelo has gone from goalie killing cancer to the perfect replacement for Dougie. A lineup fleshed out with scoring at all angles. Analytics loves them, the eye test ogles them. Every doubter of theirs has instantly been proven wrong so far. And I'm somehow eating shit. How is their penalty kill this good? I honestly don't know why. Can they make the deep playoff run that's been teased for once? That will merely be icing on the cake. What can you say about a franchise that has constantly had to restart itself time and time again? They had to do it again this past offseason, and the results reveal a merely mediocre showing. Do you remember when they started out strong to begin the season and everyone shit their pants? This is Columbus, they can't be good, we all cried. We were premature in our panic. Not to say they don't have promise, because they do. This is just one of those retooling years the Jackets have had to go through far too often. Especially when their top scorer on the year so far is... Hold up, am I reading this right? Boone Jenner? I was hoping it'd be Line, but he's been dealing with an oblique injury for most of the year. Sorry, Jackets fans, but your arena's going to host more home games for the Penguins. I just wish this franchise could just catch a break every now and then. Maybe with the defensive structure and power play not sucking ass? Elvis is going to be hanging on a roasting spigot by the time this season's done with him. Give him some help. Please? The rebuild is progressing at the very least. Detroit still has many issues to address, and nobody knows what team we're going to see from them on a given night, but strides are being made. Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond are legit. Dylan Larkin is on pace to be their first point-per-game scorer since a random guy named Datsuk. We're seeing pieces of an elite core molding in front of our very eyes. Stevie's doing decent work so far, and the fruits of scouting and making unpopular decisions are starting to pay off. There's more on the way with Vrana coming back eventually. They're on the right track. And that's all you can ask for at this point in time. Even as a ton of Wings fans are tired of Jeff Blashill, he's at least moving them forward. Now if we're talking playoffs, with that inconsistent defense, goaltending, and power play, I'm not so sure, but then again, stranger things have happened. This is the year. It has to be. There are no more excuses for the Panthers to fail miserably in the playoffs and lose what should be rightfully theirs. A deep, convincing playoff run. Look at what teams need to do to mimic even a fraction of their power. Even with a long-term injury to Sasha Barkov, I lied. Last year's team was not the most talented the Panthers had ever assembled. This one is. Surprises at every corner. Anton Lundell becoming a dynamo. 4 lines that would easily fit in nearly every team's top 6. A defensive core loaded with two-way skill. A revived Sergei Bobrovsky finally living up to that contract. Spencer Knight shows flashes if he's still undercooked. Florida is scoring at a torrid pace that's only been rivaled by few in the NHL's history. All that lies in their heart is burning fire. The fires of revenge. The fires of endless fury. The fires to carry Jumbo Joe to a Ray Bork ending. I would say Coach Q would join you there, but there was that whole covering up sexual abuse thing. That's not a good look. The NHL will allow you to coach a final game because... reasons? I really don't know why the hell they let him coach there. Doesn't matter, the team's still kicking ass. The inevitable has happened. The greatest shot the Habs had taken in decades collapses into a thud. Montreal is fucking terrible. And it's no surprise as to why. They lost a strong majority of their leadership and skill in one fell swoop. Even in net, there is no salvation. Carrie Price, after checking into rehab for drug addiction, is now having to go through rehab again for his knee, which he rehabbed after going through rehab. If you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. I'm probably being nice. Les habitants rectes Quebec's independence movement. The sins of Marc Bergevin have finally come to roost. His moves and decisions have left the team in a gaping hole of despair that few saw coming. Even the pessimistic among us. However, one thing we didn't expect was change. In the only move that has ever made sense in his tenure, he was unceremoniously removed from duty. Dom Ducharme is more than likely on limited time as well, considering how the team has imploded on itself. I'm gonna be honest. This is the best case scenario for Montreal. They got the unprecedented cup run that will leave lasting memories for a lifetime and the executive overhaul they've sorely needed for years. Best of all, they're not sticking to the same tired formulas that have held the team back. Their new team president isn't French. Even if the 2021 playoff success was a massive fluke, it's still a better day for the Canadiens. Just not on the ice. Dear God, just look away from that. Think of the children. Are we gonna have to rebuild the rebuild again? Don't do this, Jersey. You've made great strides in the forward core. Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt emerging. You got Dougie fucking Hamilton. You won the offseason, remember? I wish we could say the same about whatever is supposed to be in net. Jonathan Bernier had been brought in to solidify the position, but he's gone full Bernier thanks to a crippling injury. Well, at least that's just the insurance. Mackenzie Blackwood's been able to hold down the fort, right? Right? Oh no, he's developed Corey Schneider syndrome. When the team starts to develop, the goalie can no longer stand eons over his head to salvage games. The other goalies, let's not discuss them. It's another year where progress has stalled. And while there are some glimmers of light, they are few and far between. Lindy Ruff is probably going to be out of a job soon. And nobody's going to be all that shocked about it. But at least they have Dougie, right? Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck happened? How did the Islanders go from constantly overachieving to having the rug pulled from underneath them? The thing is, it feels as if there's nothing they can do about it. They still have the defensive and goaltending structures that took them to consecutive deep runs, but their offense, I can't find it anywhere. The whole attacking system has vanished. I get they had a massive road trip to start the year in a COVID outbreak, but look around. Everyone and their mothers had COVID this season. A few teams didn't even get a break during theirs. I can't make it any more apparent that their punch has lost any sort of strength. The Islanders are like me in college. They can't fucking score. At all. Even if you took away the goalie and threw some pylons outside the net, the Owls would somehow still fail to take advantage. Kyle Palmieri might get an extra goal. Might. Their players are completely snake-bit, and the venom is threatening the viability of the franchise. Despite playing the fewest games in the NHL, they'll need to be perfect from here on out. Sorokin can't do it all, boys. Think of the new arena. The schemes of grit-brained masterminds, the Rangers look like a legit contender for the first time in half a decade. When you see Chris Kreider potting goals at will, you understand it. When you see Adam Fox emerge as one of the best defensemen of this generation, you believe it. When you see Igor Shesterkin not only turn into a brick wall, but a brick wall behind a brick wall, you become a devout apostle of the Church of the Ranger. Many will point to their offseason moves to thank for their success, but that's more of a coincidence than anything else. Once again, look at Shesterkin's numbers. Those are masterpieces the NHL has rarely seen on a consistent level. And with Georgiev being less than optimal, the Rangers have no choice but to burn him out before the playoffs like a Roman candle. This is the best season New York has had in a long time, but it's a tad deceiving. They need reinforcements. If it's from the youth or outside of the organization isn't known, but this good fortune won't last forever. Don't be stuck in the cold. Please send me more claims that the Senators' rebuild is over. I need more reasons to laugh at Ottawa. They're terrible. Very, very terrible, but it comes with a cherry on top with exciting youth. The rest of the team is suboptimal at best. What do you mean? The Sens are a disaster scene given expectations far too lofty for what they are as of now? How stunning! Want to know how bad things have been? Matt Murray, the prize of their disastrous 2020 offseason, was waived early into the year. No one took on the contract. He's fortunately been better since returning from exile. Although I'd say that defense and goaltending aren't their main issues right now. It's the lack of scoring punch. And it's gotten even worse there. Drake Batherson, the emerging star on the team, is out long-term after being injured by a fucking goalie. A Sabres goalie! The sad part is that they don't need much to break through, but do you really trust a team led by Melnyk to see the forest from the trees? My main worry is about Pierre Dorian's job. If his contract expires soon, it might be bye-bye for him. The Flyers are a terrible directionless hockey franchise. We all win. Every hockey fan from Pittsburgh to DC to New York unite to drink in celebration. For a miserable Philadelphian is music to the ears of their rivals. People said they had a shot to be a legitimate contender this season, you know that? Biggest impact they've had on the hockey world all damn year. Do you want to know how bad they've been recently? They've had 2 10-plus game winless streaks this season. In 40 games. Being foolishly over-aggressive in the offseason has backfired horrifically. We're getting a retro performance of Flyers management, and I love it. Alain Vigneault has been useless so he can peddle pills on the streets of unemployment land. And the replacement, you ask? Mike Yo, God, you're fucked. From watching them for even a glimpse of time, it's quite obvious that the team has given up. I don't blame them. They have little to play for. Contenders are so far away from them now. It's selling time, Philly. And I'd line up my farewells to Claude Giroux while you have time. You've wasted enough of his career to waste more of it with such posturing. In an unfortunate turn of events for Pittsburgh, the Penguins will now be permanently owned by an organization out of Boston. As a token of good faith to our new Fenway Sports Group overlords, we offer a Pens team finding a streak of great form at the right time. It's a torrid pace that even their cup-winning teams hadn't been on. Winning 15 of 18. Crosby's back and kicking ass. Malkin's back and kicking ass. The defense is sturdy. Forward depth? Who knew the answer to that was Evan Rodriguez? Strange times. Even Tristan Jarry has stopped his imitation of a petard in net. Things are truly surprising in Pittsburgh. With this being their potential last chance, they're taking it and busting that window back open. Even Jeff Carter sees it, as he took a short-term extension to solidify the old man role on the team. There is one glaring weakness, however. Backup goaltender. There's nothing else besides Jarry. If the Pens don't address it quickly, they're going to turn him into April's burnt toast this side of Evgeny Nabokov. I just hope Hextall doesn't stay conservative this time around. These opportunities aren't going to last forever. What else is there to say that really hasn't been said? The Lightning are absolutely dominating nearly every foe they face with the sheer talent and ability they flex on a given night. Cup fatigue? What's that? Not happening in Tampa Bay. They have a three-peat to shoot for. Vasilevsky has been Vasilevsky. Stamkos drank a mana potion to use more spells. The depth has been reloaded with a Corey Perry that's somehow become a defensive mastermind, and Victor Hedman's making his case for another Norris. The only thing this team has to worry about is preparing for the playoffs. And it seems like they're doing just that. You know, this somehow gets better for them. They've been rolling along for the most part without Nikita Kucherov. You remember what happened the last time he was out for a long stretch? Of course you do, it was last year. Something doesn't feel right about Toronto. I keep peering over the stat sheets and everything is overwhelmingly positive. The analytics and team stats are really good. The high-end talent on display is humming like a bird. Team depth has made massive strides. Andre Kasha and Michael Bunting are earning themselves huge paydays in the offseason with their efforts. Don't forget Jack Campbell, who's dominating like he's a $10 million per year goalie some nights. They even accomplished their biggest objective of the year in re-signing Morgan Riley. Even if extending him has them paying over $45 million per year for 5 players, I should be pleased with Toronto's efforts, but I just can't shake this feeling I have. It's like they're surviving based on talent and not anything tangible. Their defense is in shambles most days, and the Leafs have to come from behind more often than not. Maybe I'm wrong, but Toronto has lost all benefit of the doubt. Here's the deal. Win 4 games in the playoffs, then we'll talk about your cup aspirations. It's the only way the memes end. This year is more crucial than the Leafs or their fans realize. I hope they're ready for a gauntlet. Caps have been surprising to me. I keep thinking, okay, this is going to be the year they start to taper off. This is the year that their core will finally take that step back. But every time I think that, Ovi rips more howitzers from his patented spot. And Washington continues to be a solid playoff contender. I'd recommend more of that from their meager power play, which seems to have the game plan of Ovi howitzers from the spot. Regardless of weak special teams, they have some new blood infused to help out. Connor McMichael, Alexei Protosh, and Martin Faravari? Good finds and could be something in the future. Their young goaltending core? Not so much these days. It's been a battle of hot potato as to who sucks more on a given night. At least Vanacek has seemed to have gotten it together, but Samsonov has been less than optimal. To say he's a massive disappointment is a massive understatement. The rumors are spreading far and wide for the Caps to buy at the deadline. And they need to. Losing 8 of 11 can't continue. Not with how they flamed out early these past few postseasons. This conference has been relatively disappointing. I expected much more of a dogfight for playoff spots. But there's a deep chasm between the contenders and pretenders. There have been more than a few disappointments. But then you have a team like Florida becoming gods. It'll be very interesting to see how things shake up in the next few months. Especially considering how brutal the Atlantic looks. The trade deadline should be a seller's paradise.
Okay, 3 times around the box.
Abracadabra.
Let's see what's in the box. Oh! It's Mini Jack Hughes!
It is Mini Jack Hughes.
Wow!
And a Hughes panorama with a
Stick's
stick
gotta
over
be
the
going.
crowd.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.